Raise your hand if you've ever been busy. Raise your hand if you've ever got tired and feel like you just need a couple days off. Most people would have both hands up right now. That's our world, fast-paced and income-driven. That's why we get caught up in our own lives so often, and that's why it's understandable when most people don't focus on worries that aren't their own. So what makes someone become a humanitarian? Someone whose whole life focuses on the welfare of other humans.
When you go back and you see kids that were living on the streets, kids had no structure, they had no routine, people who had nothing, they didn't have meals. When you see that they're all of a sudden they're waking up, they have structure, they have something to do, they have a meal in their belly, their life changes completely. They like I said, their self-esteem changes, their self-worth, their ability to know who they are in the world and what they have the potential of becoming, to give that hope, to give that dream, and then to watch people actually use that to do good for themselves and others it's amazing. It becomes an addiction.
And with Serena's help, we'll find the meaning of life to a humanitarian.
Good morning, lady.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing much better because I'm back, because I missed last Tuesday, and I'm glad I'm back with you. Oh.
Hey, you know what? Life happens. And, and you recuperate and you go on. And I know yesterday I was talking to my girlfriend, and that's exactly what we were talking about. So often people see celebrities and they see, media people that they think they never have problems. They never have issues. They never have things going on in their life. And it's not, and it's absolutely not true. It's just that they have learned how to handle them so that it doesn't show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
in some cases.
That's
in some cases.
That is in some cases, but then you get the opposites too, where they're the absolute drama queens and kings. Heaven forbid they break a toenail. And it's absolutely the truth. This morning I was listening to one of my, I listen to teachings every day, and it was talking about just be you. No one else can be you. Nobody else does it better than you, because God called us to be us, our own self. Mm-hmm. And so often I think what happens to people when they get caught up in that drama thing, they have tried to be something else or someone else or compare themselves to someone else. And of course, when it doesn't work, they fall apart.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why it's so important. Like you just said, Barbara, it's so important because why try to be somebody? It's so that's difficult. I mean, if I'm trying to be you, if I'm trying to be Barbare Ellis, why try to be Barbare Ellis is her own amazing person? Then I want to try to be you? No, I want to be me.
Yeah. Yeah. And yet, so often people do that. I mean, it's like the other day we were talking. One of the gals that I interviewed on one of our other shows, she does makeup to the stars. Mm. We'll have to have her on. Her name is Kim Wood.
Wow.
Anyways, and she was just talking about some of these movies that she's done where, I mean, they're just absolutely flawless. And because she does their makeup. And she says it's such a sense of false reality. Mm. And so often it's like, nothing against the Kardashians, but we've got a whole generation of girls that think that that's perfection.
Yeah.
And that they have to be like that in order to be valued, or in order to be happy, or in order to, get a date or be asked to the prom. And isn't that sad?
It is, because,
Yeah.
people got to understand they're in a whole different lane than what you are. And then even if they're doing what they do, you have to believe in, you have to love yourself and believe that you're beautiful just like they are, and even more so. And then I think when people, especially young minds, look at that, like you said, Barbara, they have this in their head, and if they can't get to that, they feel like that's the standard. And then if they don't feel like they're there, then they feel like they're nothing. And then after that, it goes into depression mode, and then other things start going in their head. And that's what I get so sad about.
Yeah.
When that happens.
Yeah, like Jackie Simmons. I mean, that's what she deals with, is the image that we have, and because she works with teen suicide, and it is so on the rise. And this wasn't quite the conversation that I thought we were going to have today, but you know what? It's obviously important, because one of the things that is like, we can make our plans, but one of the things that I have really learned for myself is that, and I'm a woman of faith, and I believe that God is in control of my business, in control of what's happening. And yet, you know what? He directs our path. So obviously they're out there somewhere today. Someone needed to hear that.
Yes.
I had other things that we were
See, that's one thing I like about our show, is that, we hit on different areas, and sometimes it's there for a reason, because somebody, like you said, somebody out there needs to hear something. So I never just stop and say, well, wait a minute, Barbara, that's not on our agenda. I don't do that, because you never know what is needed. Yeah.
And that's where sometimes it's in those unguarded, unscripted moments. That's what I am so grateful to you for having this platform, because this is what you do. You allow people to just kind of like go off script, and because that's where the gems are. That's where the gems are, in whatever topic that we are talking about. That's where the gems are. Because when you are only dealing with the expected, it's just the expected.
Well, yeah, you don't leave room for the, like you said,
the surprise.
The surprise, yeah.
The surprises. Yeah. And it's in the surprises that we have joy and happiness and fun. In the expected, yes, we have to do that. Like yesterday, I had a bit of an epiphany. Oh, okay. It's in the mundane things that we do every day. Like for me, if I could just be on shows all day, it would be perfect. Because that's what I like to do. I like to do this. I like to have conversations, and we're just, and people say, well, but you're just talking to people. I said, yeah, I love talking to people. So why not tell the world that we're talking to each other? It's kind of that.
They're in our living room, right?
Come into our living room. But anyway, but yesterday, every business, I don't care what kind of, this is kind of more what I was going to talk about. Every business has its things that must be done. The paperwork, the back of the house stuff. There are things that you have to do every day to make the Diamond Factor experience a success. There are things that I have to do every day, because yes, you can delegate some, and absolutely, I'm a firm believer in delegating some of the things that are really a chore for you, because find somebody who plays at what you don't like to do.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. However, there are some things that I absolutely have to do. Like one of the things that I do is I get guests. So in order for me to get guests, I talk to them and make sure that they're going to be a great fit. Adrian, you're going to love. She's a sweetie. And I've known, and Pat and I had her on our original Everyday Riches show.
Oh,
Yeah. So I've known Adrian for a while. Anyways, Adrian, I hope you're listening. Anyways, but she's one of those that has kind of reinvented herself a little bit because she's not doing the same things. And haven't we all?
Yes.
Where it has been a process. So I have to say to you, did you notice my background?
Yes, I did. It looks like a billboard.
This is my new digital. Now I'm going to screw it up. I'm sorry, Adam. This is my digital branding toolbox. One of the things, one of my goals for this year, and and it's really important to set goals. And I have not been stellar at setting goals previously. So this year it was like, okay, Barbara, you do all of these things. I do my personality stuff, and I'm a wellness brand partner, and I'm a coach, and all of these things, and work, do with the Diamond Factor, and love it all. But how do I streamline it? No clue. So this year, at the beginning towards the a little bit into the year, it was like, Barbara, you know what? Your big thing for this year is to get all of your things streamlined so that when you're talking to people, you can just send them to one place and say, hey, this is what I do. Like, this is a smorgasbord. And if you're looking to build your relationships, hey, let's talk personality. If you're looking to help with your wellness, either financially or physically, go this direction. And it was like, and if you need help with either of those things, hey, I would love to talk to you. So schedule a call and let's talk. Because for me, one of the things that I have realized is that young at heart adults will hire me to help them to get them to where they want to go. And that was where I was after David died. I knew what I didn't want, had no idea what I did want or how to get there. So
it's interesting when you say you knew what you didn't want, which was good. You were halfway there.
I was halfway there. And that's so true. So many people, they think they have to know everything that they want. No, you don't. But if you don't even know how to start with what you don't want.
That's why I was like, I love how you put that.
Exactly. Start with what you don't want. And in fact, last week I was on a mastermind, one of my masterminds, and that's exactly what the director of marketing was talking about, because it was like, find who do you want to work with? And one of the gentlemen came on and said, I'm not sure who I want to work with. And he said, great. Who do you not want to work with? And it was like, I said, yeah, exactly. Who do you not, what do you not want to do? And so then you're eliminating, because once you eliminate all the things that you don't want to do, something will pop up. Something will pop up that you do want to do.
Yeah. It's funny how the list that you don't want to do, or you don't want a certain, deal with certain individuals, that's easy to start rattling off a little bit more so than the ones that you do.
Exactly.
But it does help, like you said, because now you just put a list of, okay, now this is what I don't want. Now I got that out the way. Let me get the ones that I can really think of I do want to do. So,
and that, right.
It does help.
Because, it's in our subconscious is all the things that but what if? Get rid of the what ifs. Because then when you can get rid of the what ifs, well, what if this, like I had a client that was like, no, I shouldn't have taken this person on. We weren't a good match.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Barbara. You just put something in my mind, because I wanted to share this last week, but like I said, sometimes things happen for a reason, like you said. And you just mentioned about the what if. So a week ago, well, it was 3 weeks, and last week was the last week, I basically invested in a pitch class, a master media mastery pitch class with Forbes Riley.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I love Forbes.
And she's a sweetheart.
And it was so awesome to be in the room with her with like 8 other ladies. I mean, that's a small with, Forbes Riley. It's like
Forbes Riley.
And she just was just like full of energy,
Yeah.
and she was like, you could just tell that she cares, and she was just giving us so much, and really just making sure that we were really understanding how to really sell our. Oh, I say she said never say sell, but she said, because she said to sell, she said don't
to embrace ourselves.
Embrace
I met
ourselves,
her on the marketers cruise 2 years ago, and we spent. I mean, it was like an intimate group. There was a lot of us, and we were all just sitting at her feet, thing, and just talking about who, what is it that you do that can impact somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's why, part of it was the fact that, okay, I'm a widow. I had to reinvent myself. And and get rid of all the what ifs, because I was still not knowing what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So okay, going back, that's what I'm looking for.
The what ifs. Yep.
And you said the what ifs. So some people were saying, because she was really helping us with our words or what we were saying.
With your words.
Exactly. So one of the things, a lot of the ladies that were in the room, because you got to. So one thing is, it's funny how you always have to get used to. It's so easy to come out with like, like negative or something that you're like, oh, I don't know and stuff. So every time someone said that, she said stop. she said cancel. She always say cancel. So she said, we're going to cancel what you just said, because that's not positive. The words are going out. The universe hears you. Yeah. She said, instead of saying, I didn't think this was going to happen to me, she says, say, I expected this was going to happen to me. You had the expectation that this was going to happen to you. Yeah. Because she said, don't say, I didn't think that this would never happen to me. Oh, I didn't know that, they would be thinking about me, or I didn't know my business was going to be. She said, always say you expected that.
Expected, right.
Yeah, and I was like, ooh. And then I always talk about how words are powerful.
Words are powerful. Life.
And the universe hears you, and what you put out there is going to come back. So you keep saying, I expect, Barbare Ellison to be the most, genius person out there that's doing her thing and with personality and health. Then it's going to come to Barbare Ellison. If I expect Barbara Beckley to enhance and get individuals to help with their visibility and what they're doing, then I'm going to
look at what you've done for me.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. So expect. So I just everybody say, I expected this to happen, or I expect this to happen, more so than, I didn't think this was going to happen to me.
Yeah. Right.
And she said, cancel.
Right. And you'll notice what the word is. Shine. So when you text the word shine to that number, everything that I do shows up in my wellness playroom. And you can go through all of it and pick and choose what if any that you want to look at. And then if you decide that you want to go a step further, you can connect with me. It is just absolutely, I love it. And I'm so glad that I signed up for it. And I am going to tell on myself. I originally signed up for it last year. Never did anything with it. And I realize now, and to tell you the truth, I was beating myself up, because every time something would come about it, I would be, oh yeah, I haven't done that. And I was beating myself up a little bit. But now I realize that I didn't do anything with it because I wasn't ready. I didn't have all my ducks in a row. And now I had all my little pieces. And Adam said, well, let me send you over the form. And I went, oh, I have that. Oh, I have that. Oh, I have that. All I did was fill out the form, and he created it. And wow. And just find the people who play at something that you need.
And I keep telling people that we try to do everything. And I'm like, I admit the stuff that I not like, in that lane. So why try to get there? Get somebody that's, that knows that lane, and then bring them into your team, as we say, of your business. Exactly. And another thing that, one thing I always tell people, though, I said, it's one thing, because I was talking to a friend the other day, another business partner that I talk to sometimes, and they were like, oh, because they're in advertisement. So then they say,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna get my real estate license and I'm gonna get this. I said, stop, hold. I said, whoa. I said, did you ever want to sell real estate? I mean, this is my first time. Like, I'm not saying that you can do anything you want to
can't
do.
You're right.
But where did this just pop up from? I'm just curious, because they never talked about real estate,
Right.
So they said, well, I just feel like I just need to know do everything. And I'm just like, no. What are you needing real estate for? So I found out that they want to invest in real estate, to make another portfolio for their, to get more assets. And I said,
exactly. We need multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you have to go out and become a realtor.
And that's what I was telling. Bingo. That's what I was telling them. I said, just because you want to get real estate, that doesn't mean you have to be a realtor.
Right.
But it's nice to know. So I told him, I said, I feel like this, like we just said. I said, but it's good to know in every area, even if that's not your lane, know the basics of it.
Know the basics.
Like accounting. I mean, I went to school for accounting, but I never wanted to be an accountant. I was like, that was my wheelhouse. But I know about it. So when I hire somebody and things look a little bit hairier, maybe or whatever, then I can understand what's going on because I know about it.
Right.
And I said, just like real estate, you don't have to be a realtor, but you want to know the basic, like real estate 101 or investment 101, So it's good to know that, but you don't have to become all of that. And I was like, that's crazy. You're running around here doing things that you really don't want to do.
and yet I have to admit, I've done a bit of that.
Me too. That's why I had to stop the madness.
I had to stop. I've got a whole list on the side of my refrigerator of all the things that I have bought, not done, that are now probably obsolete, shelf help to the nth degree, and I'm not using them.
And what don't you hate about that? Because I'm in the same boat. Like I said, me and Bar, we're always the same. Don't you hate even after that when you think about the stuff that is like all those emails that are coming to you and stuff that's on the shelf that you paid for?
I paid for
little investments that you paid for, and you never even went back to see what.
I think I opened some of them. If I even opened one lesson, and I look back and go, oh, what was I thinking? But you know what? Shiny object syndrome is absolutely a real thing.
Yes, it is.
And so sometimes we get caught up in that. And hey, we've all done it. And ask anybody that's in business for any length of time, we've all done it. So if you've done it, hey, you're in good company. So you're in good company. We've all done it.
And I tell myself now I'm really pausing more and stopping when I see some of the shiny objects. I'm like, ooh, that'd be good. Because it's not like the things that I'm investing in and I'm buying like the $19 thing or the $20, whatever.
Right.
It's not that I know it's not helpful for me, but I have to ask myself, okay, Barbara, this is something you're about to purchase. Mm-hmm. Where are you going to put it on your schedule, the timing to make sure that when you're invested in this, how are you going to now take a call to action to do it? And then is it really needed right now in what you're trying to do to get to your ultimate goal? So I had to ask those questions before I just start.
Yeah.
Right. And I get all these emails coming from them because they're going to swarm you with emails.
Right. Oh, and your last, in fact, I got one yesterday. This is your last chance to join. And so it's like, no, not gonna join because. Not that it's not a good program. There are so many good programs out there. And I mean, I have bought some programs that I bought for $7 that were life-changing. And I bought some for $2,000 that I never used because it was like this, but I had already bought it. It was past the cancel date. And it was like, oh, this is totally redundant of what I'm already doing over here.
Yes. Found that out too. I was like, wait a minute. I just, some things like that. I got something like that, 3 things the same way, same thing, but a different person.
Same thing. And that is why it is so important to have your voice out there because everybody will hear something differently, say something differently, and yet be doing similar things. So don't ever worry about somebody doing what you are doing. because we are testament to the fact that we heard something at a different time from a slightly different angle, and yet it was pretty much the same product.
Yeah.
So
with that said, we have to go to our sponsors, and
absolutely.
then we're going to bring up our wonderful queen, our guest for today, and get a chance to get to know her a little bit more. Well, I know you've been knowing her. I know she's wonderful because you know her. Yep. So let's get a chance for everybody to get to know her.
And you know, we'll have to ask her. I'm wondering if I'm thinking Adrian's in WPN or close to that. Something we'll have to see.
Okay. Yeah, she nodded her head, so we won't talk about that. Okay, here we go. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. That was an awesome video.
Oh, thank you.
Lovely.
Queen. See, we get queens. See, I love the queens in the house. Hi, Adrian.
What? So when we say Barbara's, do we put an S? Like, is it Barbara with an S?
We're the BBs.
We're the BBs.
I like the BBs. That's awesome.
Barb came up with that. Oh, I think, and Barbara, we have got to do some housekeeping. We're coming up on 2 years that we've been doing this show. We've got to do some celebrations. So,
well, we're coming up with it. We already had the plan. We're gonna bring some guests, and
we're gonna bring back some guests. So I've got to start working on that. But anyways, Adrian, how are you doing? So okay, let's go back. I've known Adrian, a couple of years. Were you in WPN with Pat and I?
I was in WP. I am still in WPN. I love WPN. And I try to make the Tuesday meetings where they have the networking.
Yeah. So women, by the way, we are all alumni of the Women's Prosperity Network. And that's how I originally got connected with Barbara Beckley. Is that I was in Florida with my friend Pat and went to a Women's Prosperity Network meeting, joined on the spot, and said, "Gee, do you have a meeting in Chicago, near Chicago?" And they said, "Yes, we do. It's led by Barbara Beckley." Enter Barbara Beckley, and then we found out we were in another group and didn't know each other in the other group.
That is so funny. I actually wrote to Barbara Beckley. I wrote to you about a year ago. I just wrote how beautiful your show was and how beautiful you are. And you had another guest, and it was just really a lovely show. And you wrote back very nicely, thanking me. You thanked your fan.
Yes, I was like, "Oh, this is so sweet." I always get teary-eyed when people come and just, out of their hearts come and just say, because I don't take that lightly at all, because you took the time to watch and say, and it took the time to say, "Hey, I like your show." So thank you, lady. That's why I call you queens. Why I call all lady queens.
I love that. I love that.
We love it.
If we could just take a minute, Barbara, because you worked with Pat, probably daily, and I did workshops with Pat. And I actually want to share an experience. Can I share something that happened right after Pat passed? So Pat knew that I loved SCORE and my passion was SCORE, but Pat instinctively knew that I was donating so much time and I wasn't making the kind of money I should be making. So Pat often, she didn't try to squelch my SCORE love, but she would say, "Adrian, you need to I'd say, "Oh, okay, Pat, I'll talk about SCORE." And she'd say, "No, you're going to talk about your business." And so she really helped me during some times when I lost my mojo. She is an amazing business coach and a friend. And so after she had passed, and I really want to say that the woman, Lords with the Chamber, Hispanic Chamber, the fact that she called each of us up to let us know so that we didn't hear about it on the Facebook which, by the way, when my father passed away, the vice mayor of a town wanted to share it so badly that she didn't think about family members. So my son, who's in Tucson, he actually found out about his grandfather's passing on a Facebook post. So if we could ever tell anyone anything, don't be the first person to write, oh my God, I lost someone, because someone else in the family that's probably even more impactful. But anyways, so I was on Clubhouse, the app Clubhouse, and I was sharing my story of Pat, and all of a sudden the woman stopped me and she said, Adrian, she goes, I don't know what's going on here, but she goes, I don't know you, but my hands just started writing, and it said, Adrian, stop talking about SCORE so much. Concentrate on your business. And the feeling that overcame me, I'm like, that's Pat. Like, it was crazy because she was saying, I don't know what made me write this. Like, I don't understand. Can you tell me why? And when I told her, she got freaked out too. So, but Pat's always on my mind, and I love looking at my memories when she comes up. And I just wish we could I don't know, share every day.
Yeah. Every time we bring up Pat, it seems like every time we bring up Pat, there's something that, like you said, pops up, because I did the three of us, me, Barbara, the BBs, we had a show with Pat because she was on my network at the time. And it just popped up as a reminder. You know how Facebook has those reminders?
Reminders.
The memories or whatever. It popped up yesterday, and I was like, I just got all, my.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It still stops me.
And I was like, oh, no, don't do this to me. And Pat, I was like, oh, no. And the three of us was on there, Barbara. And I was like, she was amazing. She'll always be amazing. I always said, she's always going to be in our lives some kind of way. And Adrian just proved it, and how, we always look to see. Yeah. And she's always giving those little nuggets still. She's not here, you think of the nuggets.
Still, I can hear her voice in my head sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I was like, okay, Pat.
Yeah.
I got it.
And one of the things for me was that when she was so tragically killed and so senselessly, and we were going to do our show that week, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to cancel the show. And it was her voice in my head saying, seriously? No, you're not going to cancel the show. You have a guest already scheduled. Just do the show. Okay, because that's how Pat was.
Yeah, she was driven.
Yes, her accident happened right where my husband lives. So over the summer we passed the spot because he comes from Southbridge, so his whole family is Southbridge, Sturbridge area. So yeah, beautiful woman. So I'm glad we could take a few minutes to honor Pat and the memories.
Yeah. So, and wonderful. She was so instrumental in all of the things that I do.
Yeah,
me too.
Wow. Yeah. So Adrian, so now tell us about you.
Yeah, I've been doing great. Oh my gosh. So Pat's inspired me about 5 years ago. So I grew up in the family business, promotional products, logo merchandise, or as people like to call it, swag. But so growing up in the family business was really a wonderful opportunity to just learn business. And I didn't realize how much I actually love business. 25 years ago, making a sales call, I went into an office with beautiful Julie Brander, and she had shared SCORE with me. And SCORE always became like a bucket list. Like, I got to do SCORE. How amazing would it be to not just talk about business, but mentor business clients? So I'm the chapter chair for SCORE. And then 5 years ago,
Adrian, before you go, for our listeners that are not familiar with SCORE, what does it stand for?
Thank you so much. So SCORE, actually nationwide, we're 11,000 volunteers. Only 30% of us are women, and we are certified business mentors. So SCORE started off as retired employees. We're not anymore. I'm the new face of SCORE. We're younger and we're still working, though we do have many mentors that are retired and can give more time. And we also have, the website is like a big onion. So if you're looking for a business plan, whatever it may be that you need for your business, social media, SCORE has it, and we're always free. We are not a business coach. We're business mentors. So a client should always, if they want, they can afford a coach and a mentor. We do serve two different things. We don't do homework for you, and we literally just work with you to make sure for the life of your business. And right now, I'm doing my third facilitating for the Kaufman Fast Track program. Here, Kaufman is actually out in the Midwest, and I think it's out of Kansas or Utah. But anyways, Kaufman Fast Track, FASTTRAC, is an amazing program, and it's a free online program. But it's not like the fantastic part of it is when you're in a group of 25 and 30 people that are all working on their business together, and it's a 10-week program. So we're back to my third time doing it, and I absolutely love that. So anyways, 5 years ago, I coined the phrase, I'm on your team, not your payroll. And who would have thought at that time it was because I was a marketing consultant for promotional products. So I'd go in and do your marketing for you, but under the promo umbrella. Now I am on Upwork, and I have a few clients on Upwork that I love. And then I do social media. I do lead LinkedIn generation. So I have an author. I have 2 franchisors. I have about 6 people in the promotional products industry. And for all of them, I'm actually doing their lead generation. It's called my I'm You service. So I go in and I become them. I don't give it a lot of time. You only need half an hour a day to do LinkedIn, which is great. And I'm proving it. And what I do is I try to, because I have people on the waiting list, like waiting to come in. So I do it for a couple of weeks. And then I really want like fly, birdie, go fly and take your LinkedIn with you. So, but it is really fun teaching someone how to do it. So some people will teach LinkedIn, right? They'll do like a master class. Right. I teach it, then I do it for you for 2 weeks. If you want me to do it for another 2 weeks, I'm fine. But at one point you got to go off and do it yourself. And that is really what I do. And I kill it. I'm so good at it. It's almost unbelievable. It's like painting a wall. I just paint your LinkedIn profile to be beautiful, taking care of all those niches that you need. So that's me in a nutshell.
Wow.
I didn't even mention I'm the director of community outreach for the other thing I do is, and I only give it 5 hours a week, but I am the director of community outreach for IATME nonprofit. And I just want to do a shout out because Attorney Pollack is amazing. So IATME nonprofit is for asylum seekers that have come into the United States. They've received their court date, but they don't have any resources. You can't work for 18 months. I don't know if you know that. So during that 18 months, you are relying on a family member. There's no working, or this is why we're hearing a lot about human trafficking and what takes place underground, because the government is saying you could stay in the United States. Here's your court date, but you can't work for 18 months. So I work on getting articles written and also connecting people together. So right now, the Ukrainians that are here, that were here before March 1st, have received temporary protected status. Maybe they were here as a doctor, a teacher, vacation, whatever it may be. They can't go back to their homeland. But if they come in after that, they come in March 4th, they don't have temporary protected status. So we're working on connecting the Ukrainians with interpreters and with attorneys to help them to sort out the paperwork. So that I donate time to with it, but that's something I love. So I really, literally, in all honesty, I'm not allowed to say I'm busy because my mom and dad would never allow me to say I'm busy. So I can't use that term because it's relative. Like I could be busy, but you could be at home watching your grandchild or your baby and be just as busy. So you can't use busy as an excuse, because if I'm really busy, then I'll stay up a couple hours and finish it. And if I have work to do the next day, it's not the end of the world. So like you'll never hear me say, oh my God, I'm swamped. My plate is swamped. I can't. Because I'm a big girl and I put on my big girl panties every day and I am able to do the work. And if I can't, then I can't, and it's life. And then you just move on. So my little piece of advice today, but why I can't understand busy.
Well, first, real quickly, because I know of time, I just want to say, first of all, you're awesome. You're amazing. Second, I love that you brought in the fact that don't say busy. And I've been saying this lately, I just can't stand it when I hear people say, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. So right there, I feel like you cut yourself off of opportunities that can come into your world because you're saying how busy you are.
Exactly.
You're going to make it. And I always tell people, if you really want to get something done or do what you have to do, you're going to make the time to do it. And that always happens. So don't put yourself in a box. Sometimes I feel like that's that box syndrome where you're saying how busy you are. And then I feel like when another side of that is that you basically, when you say that you say it to other people, I'm like, another person probably saying, so you think I'm not? I mean, it was like, okay, Barbara, but I hear people say, well, I'm so busy and I got to cut off time. I'm like, well, don't you think I got stuff doing too? So it's not just you here. So
and one of the things that I have caught myself saying, and is that, oh yeah, I'm really busy. It's a good busy, but it's still that's not.
Well, and it gets to the point where then people start saying to you, when I heard, see, it was one thing when I was saying it, because like I said, this had to come from over that, like Adrian said. But when people start telling you Well, Barbara, I know you're so busy, so I didn't want to bother you.
Right.
Oh boy, when I was
Yeah.
hearing that, then I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, this has to change. And now I even correct people sometimes. They say, well, I said, nope, don't say that. Cancel. I don't want
Right.
to hear that. I'm
I
okay.
love that.
Yeah, don't sit there and gather my time to think that I can't do anything. I don't want you doing that. You just tell me what's needed, and then I'll work it out. Like you said, put the big girl pants on and do what you got to do.
The other thing too, my mom she never allowed us to use pronouns. So growing up, if I said, well, she said, who's she? He said, who's he? So my mom always said, you use a person's name. You don't use pronouns. So it was interesting when the pronoun issue came up, she, he, her, they. I had the hardest time understanding it because I'm like, wait, what? We're not supposed to use pronouns. We're supposed to be just using your name. Like, okay. And I finally kind of now understand like why we have it on our thing. But in my mind, I'm like, if I'm going to say, I just can't say she. I'm sure it slips out now and then, but then I have my mom saying, who's she? Who's he?
Yeah, I still got to get used to that. I don't even put.
Yeah, why? I noticed it. It's like, why is it? Just I don't know.
Well, because of the what is it? The peak
Identifying like who you are, like, and I totally get that. But I just, these are the things that we take from our childhood growing up. But I also had it tough too. In all honesty, my siblings weren't easy on me, and I can't tell you how many times I heard, "No one likes you, no one respects you, Adrian." Now, if I said, Barbara, no one respects you, think about that for a second. Are you really going to be like, oh, yes, they do. Oh, Sally does. Like, so it closed me off. I felt like I never could defend myself about that because it was just so traumatic to me. Like, okay, nobody likes me. So the only thing I could do is make myself more likable and really do things right. My daughter calls me a goody two shoes because to me, and maybe so I should thank you, siblings, for telling me that nobody liked me, respected me, or wanted to work with me, because it did do something for me. It helped to push me to become a better version of myself. And I would never, ever in 100 million years ever say that to anyone else, because those words can be as hurtful as, they used to tell me how chunky I was and all that stuff, but telling me that nobody respects you is really harmful. So anyways, I did write a book on that and move forward, and very proud of myself. And now at the age of 59, going to be 60 with a 16-year-old, I would say that I finally can just see myself. Like, I know what I need. I love Barbara. The Shine is excellent. So I did sign in. I love the whole experience, the texting, getting your site, the quote about the ship. I love your free ebook. Thank you so much. I love all of that. That's really very, very cool. So thank you. I don't see the shine right there, everyone. Do it for me, because you'll love it. Anyways, so but life is great. I love WPN, and I love keeping busy, and not in a bad way, but just like I have a lot of work to do, and it's so much fun because I put on these different hats all day long, but I have time for my daughter. Imagine being 59 with a 16-year-old. Let me just say,
16-year-old. I'm like that. I know right there. That's a whole other life.
Oldest is 38 too, so it's crazy. So I have a 38. I have a 32-year-old in Shanghai who the quarantine is crazy right now. So Shanghai is doing another set of lockdowns for half the city. And he was locked down a couple weeks ago. I just spoke to him. And then a 27-year-old, so 3 boys. My 27-year-old is he's out of Tucson. He moved to Tucson to be with me, and then I moved back to Daytona. I moved to China. Actually, my daughter and I moved to China to teach business English. I love business, so that was fun. And then we came back to the United States, and my dad asked me if I would open up his 5th art gallery here in Daytona Beach at Tanger Outlets, which put me here and where I am now. And they passed, so I'm an orphan and missing my parents. They both passed away at the ripe age of in their 90s, which is really beautiful.
Wow, gorgeous life for them because of Wow, you're all over the place. I'm loving it. I mean,
it's a bundle of energy.
Places. I'm like, wow.
I do.
The thing is that I love about Adrian is that, you know what? Just embrace it all. If you want to do whole bunches of things, then do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what anybody else says. It comes back to what we started the show with. Just be you. Nobody can be the best version of you rather than you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be somebody else, and somebody else cannot be you. and just embrace all of those different parts.
Yeah, and then enjoy life. I mean, Adrian, you are enjoying. I mean, I'm enjoying just you talking about your life.
I am enjoying, but I want, my daughter suffers from mental health illness, so she really has. I'm learning through her what that looks like at the age of 16. It kind of came out last year during COVID, and all of her coping mechanism and the anxiety that she has that I didn't recognize. Because I protected her through all of that. So I understand too, like, you can't just be this way. I'm so grateful I am this way, but it's not like I don't recognize that I could easily go. My mom had depression, but she would talk about it. I was always so confused, like, you don't seem depressed. So I think it's really important to be understanding of mental health and to know that when you're looking at me, don't think, oh my God, I just am wired this way. And actually I could be really, really tired, but doing shows like this or talking to a client, actually, if I could leave one piece of advice, I've always found that when I really didn't want to do something, like, I don't really want to go to that event. Oh my gosh. And then I would go. And it was like, oh my God, if I didn't go, I wouldn't have met this person. I wouldn't have had this person. I wouldn't have sold this order. So all of a sudden it connected. It clicked with me. You know what? Do the things you don't want to do. So the minute your mind says, I really don't want to do it, that's when you do it. Because for some reason, that's when God's saying, okay, we're going to show you how amazing it is. And then you walk away and you're like, I am so grateful. So I taught that to my kids. I teach that to my clients. Just do it. And then reflect back and say, oh my gosh. And you'll start to, if things develop a pattern, right?
That's why I was supposed to do it.
That's why I was supposed to do it. Exactly. Honor yourself.
Yeah. Now, Adrian, I know you have to go. I just wanted to make sure people get your information before you, Grace.
Thank you. So I you know what? I am, my phone is out there, and that's the way life is. 386-631-4577. You know what? If you try to scam me, I'll just block you. It's really okay. It'll come in scam likely. And I don't need car, and I don't have college. Everyone just stop calling me with the scammers, but it doesn't stop me for giving my phone number out. I think that it's really important. And I'm also, at 59, you can reach me any way except Snapchat, because I just keep using my login for some reason. But other than that, I'm always happy to help. Score.org, SCORE.org, if you're looking for a certified mentor. I've had to stop just only because I'm teaching the class. I donated last year 392 hours to Score. I donate about 10 hours a week. So mentoring is just a little tough. I still do it, but just with some, clients that I've had in the past. And other than that, my website is adrianbarker.com, made it simple. And I'm here for you if you need anything. I love helping. That's what I do. And I love surrounding myself with beautiful, amazing women like the two Barbaras in front of me and Women's Prosperity Network. So thank you so much for this.
Well, we're going to have to bring you back on and get some more time from you.
Thank you. I work
reaching out.
One of my clients is amazing. And every morning he is so fantastic. When people say he has a 10 o'clock sales meeting every morning, and it's so lovely. And growing up in a family business that really didn't necessarily believe in a lot of meetings or regularly, every day. But I'll tell you, that's what makes him one of the best ever that I've ever worked for, and I'm a freelancer too with him, but he is amazing. And I learned so much. And so I like to be on time. So that's part of it. So 9:55, I connect. He's probably she's always early a few minutes, but be early and Zoom is like a meeting. Get on time. Yeah, make sure. Right. Oh, and one other thing I have to say. My really most important tip in life is whenever you send an email, add your phone number. Whenever you text, message, try to get that phone number in there, because so often I go to reach someone. I'm like, oh my God, they don't have their signature, and it's really hard. So customer service that's part of it, right? You want to be available. So just when you send a text to a group of people, say it's Adrian, let people know. Right. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how many people. I'm like, I don't have you saved. Anyways, I do have to run.
Well, but thank you
Adrian,
so much.
This was a blast. Have a good one.
Yeah, we're going to see you, everybody. See you next Tuesday. Bye.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Bye, everyone.